It's one of the most troublesome invasive shrubs that can choke out native plants. It's an issue right now for cities, including Plymouth. But as Rusty Ray reports, the city made some changes and brought in four-legged reinforcements.
You may think goats eat just about anything. Goat herder Tom Sonnenstall says that's not exactly true.
I have never seen a goat eat a tin can.
But they will eat buckthorn and just about anything else growing where you don't want it. The city of Plymouth hired Tom and his 20 or so goats to chomp away.
It's going green, and it's productive go green. And I mean, the results are right there immediately, and long term too, but you see it immediately.
It's long-term planning for goat herders. Tom has his more than 200 goats spread out across the state, beating buckthorn for cities and neighborhoods anywhere they can.
You can't just go in and cut it down. You have to stay on top of spraying it and mechanically removing it, and it's really hard to manage for a small team like ours.
This summer is the first time the city has used goats for this purpose. It's not like city leaders didn't have the idea before, but they had to change ordinance last summer just to make it happen. Instead, the city's dozens of parks workers can focus on other projects.
To mow, work with trees, work on the playgrounds, the buildings, all the rentals and events that the city sponsors.
These goats come standard with a natural off-road capability.
Like this site here is on a pretty steep hill, and to get our personnel on that hill and clean the buckthorn out, it's really tough and very arduous work. So let the goats out and they do all the work for us.
And rarely complain about the summer workload. In Plymouth, Rusty Ray, CCX News.
The city ordinance was rewritten to allow for prescribed grazing that has to meet a list of requirements. The animals that graze have to be inside a fence, cannot graze for more than 2 weeks, and can only graze for invasive species. The victim of a car crash caused by the driver of a stolen vehicle has now been identified as a man from Robbinsdale. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner says 55-year-old Andrew Hyde died of multiple blunt force injuries. The crash occurred last Tuesday evening at a North Minneapolis intersection. Police say the driver who caused the crash was in a stolen Hyundai SUV. Hyde, who according to social media accounts was a classic car lover, was driving a 1964 Chevy Impala. Police continue to look for the driver who ran away from the crash scene. There is some good news concerning a Crystal father who was critically injured in a crash caused by a speeding driver fleeing police. According to his Caring Bridge site, John Girding is undergoing physical and speech therapy while he recovers from severe injuries that included multiple broken bones and a skull fracture. Girding's wife, 34-year-old Emily Girding, was killed in the crash that occurred July 8th in Robbinsdale. The couple has 2 young children. The 20-year-old suspect, who is charged with multiple felonies, is due back in court in 2 weeks. The Daunte Wright Memorial at 63rd and Catherine will cost Brooklyn Center nearly $250,000. The cost is included in the settlement with the Wright estate. Wright was shot and killed by Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter in April 2021. City manager Reggie Edwards told the city council this week that Wright's mother considered the flower planter the most important part of the memorial. It's located where she last saw him alive. Contractors are expected to start work on the monument by mid-August. Expect overnight lane closures this week on Highway 169 due to the Rockford Road Bridge project. According to MnDOT, southbound 169 will be reduced to 1 lane from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. through Thursday between 49th and 36th Avenues. After that, northbound 169 will be reduced to 1 lane in that area during the same overnight hours through Saturday. MnDOT crews this summer are replacing the Rockford Road Bridge and reconstructing the interchange at Highway 169. After months of anticipation, a first-of-its-kind restaurant in Minnesota is now open in Brooklyn Park. In this week's edition of Takeout Tuesday, we take you to a place where you can get donuts, Hotpot, and Korean barbecue all under one roof.
Thank you so much for coming.
In most restaurants, the kitchen staff cooks the food out of the view of the customer.
Set one table with the meat or vegetable, everything come out.
But Soke isn't like most restaurants. fact, owner Lynn Wen says this place is one of a kind.
So this is the first restaurant in Minnesota we offer hot pot and barbecue together.
For those unfamiliar with the concept of Korean barbecue and hot pot, we'll explain. Customers are seated at a table where there's a hot grill in the center. If you opt for Korean barbecue, the waitstaff will bring out marinated meat that you cook yourself on that very grill. If you order hot pot, they offer 6 different types of broth that you can use as a soup base. The broth is warmed in front of you, and you decide what sort of protein, vegetables, or noodles you want to put inside. Let it cook for a few minutes, then scoop and serve. If you need help,
Yeah,
the waitstaff has you covered.
that's why I like to train all my server, well training how to help and guide the customer, because this is the new concept for the people in Minnesota.
And if you're craving something sweet,
So we have the banana meal today.
you can get that here as well. Moki Nut Dessert Shop opened under the same roof as Soke back in May, much to the delight of donut lovers everywhere.
Yeah, customer like it and they coming back.
There are a few things here that will likely keep customers coming back, from the robot that guides people to their tables to the dining experience. It's all part of Wen's plan to prove that you don't need to go to the city to enjoy delicious food.
Hopefully they come here and enjoy with us.
An official grand opening celebration is planned for Wednesday at 10 a.m.